Hi guys, welcome back to Workshop Wednesday, except it's Thursday, so we're doing it on a new day. I'm Kyle Harder. I'm a makeup artist and I own the Harder Group. So today we have some amazing holiday gift sets. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about all of them, but first we're going to start with our holiday airbrush kit, which is right here. And TEMPTU's launched some really great products. It comes with your TEMPTU Air. It comes with a Perfect Canvas foundation, your Rosy Glow highlighter, which can also be an air glow, and it comes with the mulberry blush. So we actually already did part of our model space. This is Emma. Say hi, Emma.
Hello.
So we already did part of Emma. If you guys can see here, we went a little bit more intense with our contour and took a holiday look just a little bit to the next level using some of our stencils. So I'm going to show you guys how to create that look on the other side. If you are somebody that goes to a holiday party and you're just trying to look nice and glowy and look a little bit fancier, you could stick with something subtle like this side of Emma's face. Close your eye for me. Okay, so it's just a nice highlight contour. We did her brows, but if you're a little bit more adventurous and you want to try something new, I'm going to show you how you can use your blush, which we've used on her cheek. We're actually going to use that on her eye. And we're going to mix a couple other fun products in there just so that you guys can get a little bit more advanced with your application. So, starting with our TEMPTU Air, I've actually connected the AirPod Pro, which is awesome for our pro makeup artists or our slightly more advanced makeup artists, because you can actually mix and match any shade you want, any color you want, and you can even add just some gold shimmer. So, since we're in the holiday spirit, that's what we're going to do today. I'm actually putting a little of our mixing medium right in the well. Okay, you just need a few drops. And I love our TEMPTU Gold Glitter. It's super fun. You can actually mix this into any color that you put in here. Right now I'm just using it on its own with the mixing medium. Okay, so if you see, I'm just gonna tap that in. I love glitter and I love sparkle on the holidays, especially gold. So I'm using quite a bit of it, and I'm just going to mix it up. Make sure that my color is nice and saturated, if you can see that. All right. I always like to close the lid just in case I happen to spill or make any messes. We're trying to avoid that. Okay, so I'm going to work on number one, because when you're doing the eyes or any small delicate areas, you'll have a little bit more control if you're working on a lower speed. So close your eyes for me, Emma. I'm going to go right in close, right over the lid of her eye. And you'll start to see a little bit of a gold shimmer. Since it's a little wet, I'm just going to let the air dry that off for a minute. Okay? And I'm just going to keep her eyes closed. Then I'm going to set it with a little bit of gold shimmer powder. Okay, so I'm just working with this gold shimmer here. You guys can use any shimmer that you like. You can even just use the gold powder dry as a powder. So then I'm going to press that into her lid, which helps intensify our highlight that we have here. And I'm going to go a little extra just because, again, it's the holidays. I like a little extra shimmer, a little extra sparkle. So now that we have that done, I'm going to take my AirPod Pro off. And again, these are great because you can fill it with any color, you can bring it on the go, but for our people who just like to be a little bit faster with their application, you can also get the Perfect Canvas AirPod pre-filled. So this is our new mulberry color. It's absolutely beautiful. It can go anywhere from a light raspberry to a stronger, more berry intense color, depending on how much you apply. So we're putting that on, still on speed 1. And one of the tricks that I like to show people is, we have all these brow stencils, which are amazing to get a precise brow, but all the edges can really be used for your benefit as stencils or as shields. So I like to use it for that sake. So right now I'm going to use this on Emma's eye. If you want to come in closer. So basically what I'm going to do to create this line is block off or shield this side of Emma's eye. And I'll start spraying. And usually I like to spray on the plastic first, that way I can see where my color is coming out. And then you can move to the side from there. Okay, so then when I remove that, I should have a nice hard line. Okay? Now I'm gonna just do the same thing, use a different edge, place that down. The awesome thing about these shields is they're clear, so you can see through and make sure that you're lining things up the way you'd like. Press down. Again, we're starting with really light pressure, just so that a little bit of the color starts coming out. And again, I can see it on the plastic, and I know that my aim is correct. And I'm just working out to the outer third of her eye. And you could go as intense or as light as you guys would like for this. Since it's holiday, I'm going a little bit more intense. And when I pull that away, just got this really cool line. So it's just something a little bit more graphic. Again, if you're just trying something new for holiday, go ahead with that. Since part of our TEMPTU Holiday Airbrush Kit comes with our new matte bronzer and contour, I'm going to show you guys where I like to use that on our face. And my favorite thing about this is that it is matte. So we've had other bronzers in the past, but this one doubles as a bronzer and a contour because it doesn't have shimmer. So you can really use it in any of the contours or hollows of your face. Okay. So I'm going to use that on setting number 2 now because her cheek is a slightly larger area. And I'm going to show you guys a little bit more about contouring in a moment, but for now, if you want to turn towards the camera. Whenever I do contouring, I like to go right along the bottom edge of her cheekbone. So if you have trouble spotting where that is, give yourself a nice little guide. Okay, so you just give yourself a guide with your hand. I'm going to remove my hand because I don't really need it. And you want the majority of your contour color to come out by the ear and your hairline. And you just move forward in a slow, steady, sweeping motion. And make sure you're just overlapping. So if you do a line here, make sure you move up. And again, the farther away that you stand, the more spread out your the spray is going to be. If this is just for a holiday party, you're going out with your coworkers, maybe you don't need to go so strong with the contour, but if you're a Instagram fangirl, maybe you do want a stronger contour. So I'll leave that up to you guys. I usually go somewhere in the middle. Okay, so
a little more to the camera.
Go ahead and turn towards the camera, Emma. So as you guys can see, we've just carved out her cheekbone, so it's almost like we have a nice cylinder there. I haven't even done any highlighting, but you can already see a highlight on her cheekbone just by adding your contour. And as you can see, it's matte. You don't see a lot of shimmer, so it's really nice as we go into more of our wintry months. And we don't necessarily want that summer glowing bronzed shimmer. This is a really nice matte option. So now I'm going to switch into our mulberry blush. So again, this is that really beautiful raspberry color that I was telling you about. It's almost as if you're just kissed by the winter.
That's a great angle.
Okay. Still on speed 2. When you guys start with your blush, for Emma, what I'm going to do is go towards the apple of her cheek and sweep back into her contour. Okay, and you really want to go pretty lightly to start because it is a very rich color. But if you just use some control with the trigger on the airbrush, you can really go anywhere from very light to a more saturated look. Okay, so that's nice and subtle at her cheekbone, and then I'm just brushing it back into her contour. You guys can see I'm working in tiny little circles, not going too fast. You don't want to go crazy, but you just do a nice slow build. And right into the cheekbone. So right now we're helping cradle that cheek and make it look like it's lifted. It's a nice illusion, although Emma actually does have very nice cheekbones. So now I'm going to switch over to my Rosy Glow, which again, I was mentioning, this is an awesome product because you can use it as a blush, you can use it as a highlighter, or you could even just use it as one of our Air Glows. And with our Air Glows, a lot of times we use that as an overall complexion base, and then we do our foundation over that, and it just makes all of your skin kind of shine from within. So you kind of get a 3-in-1 here. This is a really beautiful color, also one of our new holiday launches. So let's take a look at that on Emma. Okay, turn it on, still speed 2. I like to test it on my hand just to see how saturated the color is or how fast it's coming out. And for this, we're gonna cradle that right on her high cheekbone. Now just remember, unlike our typical champagne highlighters, this does have a hint of pink in it. So you don't want to completely overtake the highlight, right? You just want it to fade up into it, but we want to see a little bit of skin tone there because you don't want it to get too pink all over. I like to do just the tip of her cheek. That way when the light hits, it's really beautiful. You get to see some of the shimmer that's in here. But again, it's got that winter kiss of rosy cheek. Okay, and if you turn towards us, I could even go a little stronger, I think. Especially for our girls who really love to stand out, go ahead and use a little extra highlighter. Keep it fun, why not? And Emma already has a little bit of the mulberry shade on her lips, but if you wanted to highlight the center just to make your lips a little bit more pouty and full, you could even take our Rosy Glow highlighter right on the center of your lip. And it almost looks like you've got a subtle shimmer gloss on it. All right. So that is how we created the look on both sides of Emma's face. Again, you could go stronger with your contour if you want. But this is the holiday airbrush kit. It's awesome because you guys are getting a really great deal on it. Usually it is, let's see, $325, but you guys are gonna get it for $225. So if I were you, I would run out and get that because look, it's the holidays. We got lots of gifts to buy everybody. So we gotta save where we can. All right, so that's one of my favorite kits. Now, why don't we move on to our next kit? Our next kit, we have our Shimmer Bronze Matte. Shimmer Bronze is the holiday kit that we're talking about here. It comes with our matte bronze and contour and one of our highlighters. So I think for this one, I'll show you guys that on our model, Haley. Yeah, okay, why don't we swap? That way you guys have a nice angle over here. Emma and Haley. All right, so for Haley, I already did her base foundation. Just that way we don't have as much to do on here. So why don't we start with our contour? Let's see. We have a couple, oh, can I use these from here?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I didn't know if they were. Maybe you want to try and, oh, no, I got it. Okay. So again, this is our medium bronzer. And for Haley, you know, everybody has different face shapes, so I do like to talk about that a little bit. Our first model, Emma, is a little bit more of an oval shaped face, and Haley's almost a little bit more square. Right? So her jawline is a little bit more pronounced, and when we're doing bronzers and contours, sometimes your bronzer is an all over, you know, bronzing just to give you that tan for the summer. But in the winter, I really like to use it more just as your contour. So you're bringing out a lot of your natural features. Instead of being an all over bronze, you just highlight your features a little bit more. So Haley's got really beautiful cheekbones. I'm gonna have her turn a little bit towards camera. That way, perfect. And again, so if you're somebody who wants that really strong, defined contour, you love that harsh line for contrast, one of my suggestions is that you take your hand, give yourself a guide. So your contour is always going to go from your hairline and your ear out to your cheekbone, but the purpose is also to give the illusion of lifting your cheekbone, right? So I'm going to find that area and just do a soft mapping of where my contour is going to go. All right, so now that I have that map, I can remove my hand. I can still see where I've placed it. And we're just going to do the same thing. Start from... So I'm going to lift her hair up a little bit. Okay, so we're getting some of the bronzy glow right in her cheekbone. And something you guys may want to try is going a little stronger with your contour and then doing a layer of foundation over it. That way the contour really looks like it's from within the skin and not something placed on top. So for some of my newer airbrush artists, I just want to note one thing. A lot of you, I see you do a strong line and you just leave it there. Make sure that you do your contour line, but then you bring it up and blend it into your highlight and into your brow or your cheekbone. Okay, so from there, sometimes I like to go right around the forehead Haley actually doesn't have a very big forehead, so she doesn't need a whole lot of bronzing or contouring on the top. So we'll just give her a light misting. Just warm up her overall skin tone, especially since for the holidays we usually start to get a little bit on our paler side. And we're all trying to hold on to that nice summer tan. Okay, and we can do a little bit down Haley's nose. The great thing about the matte bronzer is when you're doing your nose contour, a lot of our shimmer bronzers, you know, then the kind of rule of thumb is that you don't want your T-zone to be shiny, but since a lot of these bronzers have shimmer in them, you tend to start looking sweaty even though you don't mean to. So the matte bronzer is really awesome for that. If you want to do a little along the jawline, please do me a favor, guys, and don't go too heavy here. I see so many girls walking around and they have this brown line under their chin. It's just not a good thing. So if you're gonna bronze the jawline, make sure you're doing a nice spread from far away. I'd say an open five finger away, instead of getting any harsh lines. Bring that down on your neck, on your chest a little bit. Again, keep that summer glow in the winter. Okay, and you could turn on the other side. If you want something a little bit more subtle, you don't even need to place your hand there. Just give yourself a nice subtle bronze. Again, work pretty slow. I see a lot of girls doing this on their contour, and that just ends up creating a lot of little bubbles or like patches. Okay, so again, just a nice soft bronzing. A little bit down Haley's nose. Don't fall asleep. It's kind of hard to not want to fall asleep when you have just light air blowing on your face. Again, we'll do a little along her jawline, nothing too strong or heavy. A little bit down her neck. Okay, and inhale if you look forward. Look this way into camera. Okay. So once you have that, let's see. If you do want to add a little bit of shimmer, then you can use our Warm Glow bronzer. So this kit's really cool because you get the option of using a matte bronzer, or you can use one with a little bit of shimmer. For Haley, since we already did her contours in the matte, I'll just give her a light mist of the shimmer bronzer, just so all of her skin is glowing. So I'm keeping my airbrush pretty far away. That way there's no direct lines or anything that comes out too strong. Sometimes maybe on like her décolleté, we'd like to use a little of that. And then we'll switch back over and we're gonna use one of our highlighters called Rose Gold. So this is kind of similar to our Rosy Glow, except the Rosy Glow is kind of a rose color with a gold shimmer, and our Rose Gold almost has more of a champagne shimmer with the rose color. So they are slightly different, both beautiful colors though. So for that, since we just did Haley's contour, now we want the high parts of her face to really pop out, stand out, show their highlight. So we're just gonna go right over that. And we're making sure that we're overlapping our bronze and our highlight so that we don't get any harsh lines or streaks. And what I love about this one is you get the highlight, but it still has a warmth to it, which some of our, if you go with a highlighter or a shimmer that's too dull, you don't necessarily always get that. Sometimes it's a little bit too white in the reflection. So the Rose Gold is a little bit warmer. Again, just cradle the top or the high cheekbone and bring it down onto your cheek. Also, ladies, anybody who is not a big fan of wearing a strong blush, this is kind of a perfect color. It's very subtle. Because it's got that little bit of a highlight in it, it makes your cheekbone look like it's standing out a bit more. And you get a little bit of color to your face without having to use a really strong blush.
Kyle, a lot of peeps are asking about the Airshadow Trio that we're featuring, so
okay.
I'm just going to bring them over if you want to
Perfect.
show them.
Yeah, so I can show you guys the Airshadow Trio also on Haley. Basically, let me just wrap this one up. So just before I move on to the Air Shadow Trio, this is our shimmer bronze set. So you get a matte bronzer and contour, you get a shimmer bronzer, which is our warm glow bronzer, and you get a highlighter in the shade of rose gold. Really beautiful winter colors, especially if you're a winter wedding person. That rose gold is always really popular. I've seen it in tons of weddings. It's still a trend, still a theme, from everything from your jewelry to your cell phones to your accessories. Rose gold, everybody loves it, so it's a great set. Rose gold. All right, so if we're pairing an eye with some of our contour shimmer bronze, we have a really great Air Shadow Trio. I don't know if you guys can see here.
So it comes with 3 8ml pods for $50.
Yep, okay,
Shades.
so do you need me to say that? Or
No, I can.
they can hear you?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I gotta know, can they hear her from here? All right.
So it's 3 really neutral, like warm toned shades that can work on everyone's eyes. So yeah, just go to town.
Yeah, like she said, they're really neutral shades. None of them have too much blue or too much red in them, so that's kind of why they're so neutral for everybody. So I'm going to start with our lightest shade. This is our Air Shadow in Sandstone. It's already open. So this is a really great base or like eye prime color before you're building up with any other shades. I always like to go neutral with the eye before I put any color on it. And even it's kind of that nice bone shade that we use. I mean, tons of us use it from other companies and are just powdered eyeshadows because it's such a great base. So when we work on our eyes, sometimes I use 2, but for everybody that's starting out, you probably will want to go down to speed 1. It'll give you a little bit more control, especially if you're not used to working with such precision in small areas. So Kayla's going to close her eye for me. And we're just going to start. Remember, this is somebody's eye, so you don't need to go crazy. Make sure the pressure is not too strong. And you're just giving yourself a nice overall cover. There we go. Now we can see the shade coming out. At least I think you guys can. So you can do that all over the lid. If you want to bring a little bit of that into the brow bone, just as an extra highlight, because since we were just talking about highlighting and contouring, obviously we know that highlight can be either in lightness of the shade of the color, or it can be highlighting in texture, so maybe glossy versus matte or shimmery versus matte. So this is highlighting with a matte color, but it's lighter than the rest of her. So obviously that highlight stands out quite a bit. We'll do the other eye just to keep everything balanced. Okay, start at the center, work your way out to the edges, and let's do a little of her brow bone as well. Again, we're being nice and soft with the airbrush. We're not pulling back on the trigger very much, like just really a little bit. That way you get just a light amount of product that comes out and you can really control it very easily. Then I like to go to a medium shade, which is Heatherstone. It's a nice kind of taupe, which is really pretty for the crease. Oh, let me do that correctly. All right. Again, I always test it out on my hand just to make sure the color's coming out. I think you guys can see the color there. You also get to test how much pressure you need in order to get a certain amount of product out. So again, it's always good to just test it out. Haley's got a really beautiful crease already, so we're just gonna follow that guideline. Go right in close. Anytime you're doing a detailed area, it's fine to come in closer. I know that for the rest of your complexion, we usually tell you guys to say about 4 fingers width away. But when you're doing eyes, you really want to be able to see the area you're working with. So I'm doing her crease, and I can even fill in this area by her brow a little bit. We'll go all the way up to the hairline. Make her eyes look a little bit bigger. And out here, I'm even going to pull that shade out a little bit. Make her eyes look even wider than they already are. Because again, it's holidays and we get to dress up a little bit more and just do it up. Cool. All right, so we'll do the same thing on the other eye. We're just starting in again. Use your control. Very light pressure on the trigger. You should be able to see it coming out and be able to tell if you need to adjust your placement at all or adjust your speed. And whether you guys want to go more subtle for your holiday parties, or maybe you're trying to impress somebody, I usually am. You gotta find somebody, right? So I always go a little bit more over the top with my makeup, but you guys could go more subtle. You don't have to stretch it out as far here. If you want to keep it, you know, more centralized to her eye shape, you can do that. And we have a third color right here. This is Tiger's Eye. Seems appropriate for the holiday, right? Okay, so click that on. Last shade. If you guys want to intensify, since we did that one in the crease and we kind of fanned it out to make it a nice soft blend, if you want to intensify anything, maybe this is where you would use Tiger's Eye, slightly deeper brown shade. So Sandstone and Heatherstone we did first, and now we're on Tiger's Eye. And we're just gonna use that right in the corner to intensify this look. I'm not even gonna bring it all the way over across her her crease because we already put a shade there. Okay, so this is just intensifying the outer third of her eye. We're going slightly into the crease. And I'm actually gonna do a little bit in here also, just to intensify this area. And this is a little bit more of like an editorial holiday look. You know, for every day you might not intensify those contours and those creases so much, but I think it's fun, especially for holiday. Again, we get to do it up a little bit more. And Haley has such a beautiful eye shape. Also something I love, this isn't part of this set, but that was your Air Shadow Trio, right?
Linda has a question for you.
Sure, hi Linda.
How would this work if you had a monolid?
If you had a what?
Monolid.
Monolid, just as in like no crease? Is that what monolid means? Could you ask? Lydia, right?
Linda.
Linda, what do you mean by a monolid? Just that you don't have a crease to really use that contour?
Yes, that's what she means.
That's what I thought, mono, one, got that. Basically, so actually a lot of Asians, we have that monolid. We don't have that deep set crease based on just our bone structure. So, but it's the same thing. It's actually what we do with contouring in general. You're creating a shape. You're creating an illusion that you have a crease or that you have a lid. So you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna use your lighter shade first, then you're gonna go with your medium, and you kind of map out where you would like that crease to be. If you have difficulty with this, you could take, you know, an actual brush with maybe a little bit of shadow on it. So say Haley had a very flat plane, her eyes didn't have any shape, but she was just, you know, a monolid. I would just mark out where I want my crease to be. So I would probably look straight for me, Haley, look in the mirror and decide, do I want my crease all the way up here? Or do I just want a small crease down here? And then I would close my eyes, map that out, and that's where you're gonna put your contour color. So again, when we talk about highlighting and contouring, it's really just to create an illusion. Anybody can do it, no matter what face shape you have, no matter what size face you have. It's really for everybody, but yeah, we would do it slightly different based on, you know, if you were more square, more round, more oval, more of a diamond shaped face. We can get into this a little bit more. I'm actually going to be doing a video for TEMPTU where we're really going to break down contouring and face shape. So Linda,
Tune in for that.
Linda, tune in for that. It's going to be awesome, and it'll probably answer a lot more of these questions that you have.
Do you want to tell folks a little bit about the difference between that, using the kit with like the Air and the Pro Pod and the Pro, or the Pro Plus kit, like how they're different?
Sure. Okay, wait. Which one did you want me to start with?
The difference between the Air kit and the Pro Plus, just because they're two really different
Yeah.
things.
Okay, so that's a really great question, actually, or a great point to make. I've been using the TEMPTU Air so far on these two lovely ladies, but we do also have the Pro Plus, which is over here, and this is one of our other kits. A lot of you already have TEMPTU product. A lot of you already have the S1 compressor and maybe our SP35 or our SP40 guns, or maybe you just have this one here. This compressor is so awesome because it's interchangeable with just about all of our product. So whether I want to use one of our pre-filled pods, that can click right into the base, or if I want to use an AirPod Pro, which is here, you guys, a lot of you probably know what this is, but you can take the top off, and for a lot of our pros, this is really beneficial because you can mix and match any color you want. You're not limited to just the shades that we have in our pre-filled pods. So I really like it for that because sometimes when I'm on set, some of my clients aren't exactly one of the shades that we have, and I really have that flexibility to switch out and create my own shade. Also, sometimes I want one of our pre-filled shades, but I want it to have some shimmer in it. I have the option to just put some of our gold or silver powder right in that color with our AirPod Pro. So that kind of gives you a lot of versatility with being able to custom blend and custom create shades.
You have a question from Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
If we're doing a lot of makeup for clients, which would be the one you'd recommend she purchases?
If you're mostly doing beauty, I would say go with the TEMPTU Air, and definitely make sure that you have an AirPod Pro. So if you're just trying to switch through a lot of clients really quickly, maybe you're a bridal makeup artist. I know when I do brides, I really stick to my TEMPTU Air, and I use a lot of the pre-filled pods. That being said, I always keep 1 or 2 AirPod Pros with me, and I always keep a small pack of our Perfect Canvas foundations with me, just in case, like I said before, you need to custom match any color. If you're somebody who's working more with face and body, then I would probably go with our Pro Plus. Because while you can do large body, like large spray for body, you can't really do body detail work with this. It's just not quite as precise as being able to switch your SP35 or SP40 onto the Pro Plus over here. So think about what you guys do, think about who most of your clients are. Maybe you're just a bridal makeup artist that does beauty all the time. This is really great for you. It's fast, it's super light. I think it weighs under a pound, which is awesome when you're carrying so much product all the time. You know, we're all trying to save our backs. But if you're somebody who either does a lot of creative or is looking to expand and try some more creative, maybe this is the better option for you because you can swap in any of our devices. That being said, as far as holiday gifts, for a lot of just our consumers who love makeup or know somebody who loves makeup, this is a really great option because it's very easy to use. It's easy to learn. We actually are putting up a bunch of educational videos also where you guys will get to watch us and watch some of our, just our customers and users try it for the first time, and they'll show you how easy it actually is. I think this is a little bit scarier for people because they're like, how do I use this? There's a cord, you know, I gotta press power and what do I do? So this is a lot less scary for people who haven't airbrushed yet. But again, if you want to be more advanced, try this out. Let's see. Maybe I should talk about some of our other sets that we have here.
There's the Total Beauty Bundle.
Yeah.
It's great for someone who wants to stock up on makeup.
Yeah, okay, so some of our kits are smaller, which are great holiday gifts. I actually got my niece the TEMPTU Air last Christmas, and I gave her a foundation, a blush, and a contour, and I've never seen somebody scream so loud. It was her sister. She was super happy. It's a gift that's really reasonably priced, and today you guys are getting a really good deal on it, so maybe you want to hop on that. But for somebody who's just starting, yeah, maybe you want to get them one of our smaller kits, like the TEMPTU Air Holiday Kit, because that's really a great starter package. But if you know somebody who's a friend, a mom, a sister, a relative that just is a makeup fanatic and needs to have everything, you probably want to get our Total Beauty Bundle right here. And this is great because you get all of our shades, skin tone shades. You get some of our Air Glow, which is really awesome for if you want to apply like a shimmer to your skin before a foundation. Obviously highlighting is really in right now. Glowy skin is really in. Everybody's trying to just look youthful and bright. So the Beauty Bundle, you really get a little bit of everything. You even get some lipstick, and you get some of our brow shapers. Maybe I should show you guys some of our brow shapers actually. I could show them
Yeah,
that
can
on
we do
Haley.
a brow?
Yeah. Why don't we do a brow? And I'll show you with the AirPod Pro. So I'm going to take this. So this is our AirPod Pro. There's no product in it yet.
What do you need?
I don't think anything. These are the
Yep.
brows. I can take them from here. Can I? Yeah. Or actually, I can take this right here. So for Haley, I'm going to use our lighter brow shade. When it's in the bottle, I usually like to shake it up first. You can hear that little ball in there. That just helps make sure the product and the color is evenly distributed. So, and we do have these in pre-filled pods, but I'm just showing you guys, you know, if you wanted to use this on its own, you just pour a little of that right into the well. A couple drops is really all you need. And actually, this is a perfect example of when you might want to use the AirPod Pro and when it would be beneficial. So right now we have two shades for AirPod, for our Air Brow. One's kind of a light blonde or a taupe blonde, and one's a little bit of a deeper brown. But for any of our customers that maybe have a little bit more red, you know, if you have red undertones to your brow hair, you could always drop a little bit of a redder color into it. You can mix it yourself, which is really awesome. So again, very versatile. I always like to cover it with the lid. Turn it on. Brows, for you guys who are just starting out, I would recommend starting your brows on one. Like I said, whenever you're newer to something, it's usually best to just go delicate. For Haley, let's see, I'm gonna pick out, so this is part of your beauty bundle. You do get all these brow stencils. So there's kind of a range from medium round arch, petite round arch, full natural arch, and full high arch. We're gonna go with full natural arch for Haley. And it's okay if you guys don't feel like your brow shape fits perfectly into one of our stencils. These are really more of a soft guide for you. So for Haley, I would maybe start with the front and just get a nice front brow shape. I might even just use it for the bottom edge. And it's great because since it's clear, I can still see where her eye shape is. Okay, so I always start by spraying onto the plastic first. That way you can get a sense for where the product is coming out. And for the top, I'm actually going to shift my stencil just a bit, get a little bit above. And we're working pretty slow with this. And then I may even skip the center and just go to the end of her brow. And then I'll come back after, but let's just get the end shape in. And brows, I usually like to start a little bit light. I can always go back in and add more. Okay, so that you can see with that. Now, I might want to take my, this is just the brow, I guess, what do we call this again? Kind of your brow shaper. It's not a defined stencil. You can use any of the arches and you can use any of the straight edges. So Haley's got a little bit more of a straight brow, so I'm just going to use that to get the bottom edge of her brow in. Okay, so I'm not spraying up here, I'm spraying on the plastic to make sure I just get that bottom edge. I'm going to use the top, and just find which way I want to use this. We'll go right here to get her arch. I'm really just using it for the straight edge on the end. Really lightly, as you guys can see. Okay, and when I lift that up, you get a little there, just wipe away, but now you can see Haley's brow. And I believe, then you might, usually I just kind of comb through it. Again, you want kind of that soft, natural finish, but a nice, clean, defined shape. And that's great. If you guys, if you want to pull in any individual hairs, thank you. You could always take a brow brush or an angle brush, and then you could even pull in a few extras if you'd like. Sometimes I like to use the Air Brow, put a little bit on my hand, like that, and just dip my angled brush in it. And maybe I just want to extend the shape of her brow a little bit. So sometimes I do a mix of airbrush and traditional brush just to get that nice fine point. And for the front of her brow, we're just gonna pull up and get a nice soft fade. Okay, so don't feel like if you are a traditional makeup artist, you have to switch over everything. There's still a lot of tools from traditional makeup application that work hand in hand with Airbrush. It's really great if you start to learn how to be able to do both. So actually, since we did Haley's one brow, let's not leave her hanging. I'm gonna do the other side. Something important, once you use a stencil on one side, make sure you wipe it off before you flip and do the other one. Otherwise, you're gonna get all that product on her skin. Actually, do you guys have a dry paper towel or a tissue? That way I can just wipe it down after.
Right.
I might even be able to dry it with my hand. 1 second. Perfect, thank you. Okay, so if you wipe it off with a wet wipe, dry it off, because again, you just put makeup on her. You don't want to get that all wet. Put this back here. So we'll do the same thing, except we're flipping it around. Okay, so we're lining up with the front of Haley's brow. I think that's a good spot for it. Working on setting 1. I'm going to spray the plastic first. And just get the bottom edge of her brow. We'll go over into the brow arch. Not going too heavy yet. And keep working, just keep inching your stencil along the areas that you need to use to fill. And I'm just doing the last third of her brow. Getting it in the arch. Okay, and then I'm gonna switch over to my brow shaper. And actually the bottom looks pretty good. Just use this for the top, which I don't need a lot, so really try and go very light for this part. Because again, you're trying to match the brow that you already did. Okay. And this takes a little while, so if you get frustrated doing this the first time, don't worry, just try again. You can't really mess it up because you could always just wipe it off and start over. So again, I always like to comb through the brow. Usually helps lighten it a little bit or soften the hairs. And we're gonna use the tip of this just so that we get the same faded front of the brow as we have on the other side. And we're gonna extend the outer edge of the eyebrow as well. Okay, now look towards me. You guys wanna do your best to make sure they're even, so take a look, have her face forward, comb through anything else that needs combing. And there you go. So that's a quick brow. Like I said, we have those in our pre-filled pods, or you could use just the little 8 milliliter bottles. Yeah?
So we have about 5 minutes left.
Okay, wow, that went so fast. I feel like I have so much more that I want to tell you guys.
We want to remind everyone that we are doing a giveaway today.
Oh yes, that's super exciting. Okay, I don't know if you guys know this, but we are doing a giveaway. It's how many are we giving away? Just the one. Okay.
Yes.
So one lucky winner. I would love to give it to everybody, and I try to all the time.
Don't get us in trouble.
But I can't get us in trouble. So one lucky winner is gonna win which kit is it
Holiday
actually?
Airbrush kit.
The Holiday Airbrush Kit. I should have memorized that first. But one lucky winner is gonna win the Holiday Airbrush Kit. So that was the first one that I showed you guys. That's the TEMPTU Air, a perfect canvas foundation, our Mulberry Blush, which is this one, and our Rosy Glow highlighter, which can also be used as an air glow or a blush, whatever you guys choose to use that as. So this holiday gift set right here is going to one lucky winner. What do you guys have to do to win it? Or are we just
keep
picking
the
a name?
questions coming? Whoever's the most engaged, we will pick a winner.
So whoever is the most engaged, whoever asks the best questions, whoever really learns this information, that you're gonna be the winner, and we're gonna choose you. Okay, that's our giveaway today, the holiday airbrush set. And you guys saw our air shadow trio. That's a really great one too. You saw our bronzing highlight set. And then we
maybe
had.
show them Emma's eye. What
Yep.
you said earlier, a couple people tuned in late.
Great. So for everybody who tuned in late, we already did Emma's look. This was kind of our holiday look taken up a notch. We started with a basic holiday look, but for all of our holiday goers that love to just stand out at your holiday party, or maybe you're looking for somebody special, this is something a little bit more advanced. And if you close your eyes, Emma, we did a really cool graphic. Oh, I didn't really set it very well, but as you can see over here, we did a cool graphic line that's just something extra for you guys to try with our stencils. So any of our kits, you can really achieve any of these looks, whether you want to use the TEMPTU Air, the Air with the AirPod Pro and mix and match your own colors, or if you want to go with our Pro Plus, for those of you that already have some of our other devices like our SP40 or our SP35, you can attach all of that to the Pro Plus. So take a second, think about who's in your life, who needs presents, who your favorite niece is, who's your favorite daughter. Think about any of your favorites and maybe decide which kit would be best for them or you. I like to buy myself presents too. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. This was all of our holiday gift sets. I'm sure you can find these online too, or give us a call, check in on Facebook. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys learned a lot. I'm Kyle. Bye.